That's my boy, QT Dub. That's who did the track, QT Dub.
That's a headbanger right there.
Yeah,
that's a headbanger.
Keep the vibe going. All right, here we go. We got it. It's not big deal. We got this. Woo! Guys, thank you so much for joining us for another amazing, incredible, exciting Ariel's Entertainment podcast. We are available on all podcast platforms, arielent.com as well on YouTube. Call all your friends and family. Tell them there is an amazing show that just dropped. Call your friends and family. Let's go. Buckle up. Yeah. Woo! Welcome, best friends. Welcome, world. Welcome, listeners. We are tuned in. We are on the same frequency right now for another beautiful Ariel's Entertainment podcast. I am your host, Ariel. No further ado, I just want to get this show going, guys, because we have an amazing guest. Literally, we have an amazing guest here today. Friday, December 10th, live. Here we go. Our guest today, she comes all the way from Maryland. She's an author. She's a leadership coach. I bring you the one, the only, Dr. Andrea. Woo!
Woo, 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 woo. Thank you, Ariel, for having me here. I am so excited. As I said, like I'm loving the Christmas like stuff. I'm feeling like all vanilla over here. But you know, you brought your A game. I was like, oh, let's do this. Oh.
I tell people all the time this. Everything that you just said, I tell people that all the time, and they're like, hey, so that's awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show from Maryland.
Thanks for having me. I love it. You know, East Coast, West Coast.
Hey, we're doing big things right now. Like literally, we're doing big things right now. And so before we get into what you do and what your purpose is in life and all the upliftment you're going to give us, you know what I got to do? I got to do the self promo because that's what pays the bills.
The bills.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Guys, I'm so grateful. So the donations links are down below, the Apple, the Venmo, the PayPal, the links are down below. So thank you so much, guys. We just got new studio lighting above us so you guys can see more of my features. Okay, cool. So thank you so much because I just put it back into the business. Thank you. All right. A great way to support me is by going to arielent.com. And you know what? I have it ready, but I always push the wrong buttons. Here we go. And I do this almost every day. You think I would have it all straight. There we go. Boom. arielent.com. There's my podcast. Go to the music. I'll be promoting my Christmas album. Yeah, there's my Christmas album. Feliz Navidad, Last Christmas, Silent Night. Go check it out. arielent.com. And then we got the shop. The shop is low right now. We're selling out everything right now, guys. $8 t-shirt. What else can you get, right? Sticker and pen for free when you buy the t-shirt, guys. The shop is going crazy. Photography, hit me up. I do architecture, weddings, headshots, all the above. Hit me up. arielent.com. Boom. All right. Another amazing way to support me is by going to my famous YouTube channel. We hit 242 subscribers. 242 subscribers. You know what they tell me? My friends tell me, and they say, hey, we grab the links and we just share it with everybody in our phones. So that's awesome, guys. So thank you so much for grabbing the link and sharing it with all your friends and family. We're dropping episodes left and right, and they're blowing up. We got one here at 1.2K views. We got another one here at 500 views. We got another one here at 49 views. We got another one here. Where is it at? Where you at? 4.9K views, yo. Yeah, holla at your boy. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. arielent.com, Ariel's Entertainment Podcast. We're just here to uplift each other. And that's what this show is all about. Upliftment and helping each other out. Boom. All right, guys. My assistant came in today and he did give me a great prayer today. So here we go. This is the prayer of the day. Woo! I want to say thank you, God, our guardian dear, to whom God love commits us here. Ever this day and night, be at our side to light and guard, to rule and guide. And thank you, God, for having Dr. Andrea on the phone, for all the listeners and everything you provide us with, shelter, food, and perfect health. Thank you, God. Glory to God. That's all I say. Guys, thank
Amen.
you. Yeah, amen. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another podcast. Here we go. No further ado, let's bring back in our amazing guest, Dr. Andrea. Andrea, where can we follow you and tell us what you do?
So I am on all the major platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I'm on all of those things. And yeah, look, and check out my Socio tab. I have all sorts of fun stuff. And man, I tell you what, thank you, Boo. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You, and you can see we're offering gift certificates for the holidays. I tell people, listen, I'm not mad, but don't give her another sweater that she's going to throw in the corner. Invest in her development, right? Give her the gift that keeps on giving, because the one thing I know is that my grandmother, God rest her dead, she would say, when your mind is yours to keep. And so if you help her become educated and help her to really just achieve her goals and her dreams and her aspirations, as opposed to that sweater, although I do like a cute sweater, but you can give her the gift of information, and to let her scale and grow her business, let her scale and grow her career to the heights that she wants to do, so she can create the life that she always wanted, and not a life that someone told her that she could have.
Wow. And so this is your, I've never seen this type of platform to show all your links. What's it called? Socio tab?
Socio tab.
I got it, for like social. I get it.
Yeah. So Socio tab. So, and it's about my programs, about what I'm about. My book is on there, what anything I'm offering, and anything my company's offering, and anything is literally one click, and you can learn information, or you can buy the product or service right off. And I love it. And I recommend for anyone who's in a business. I know people say use Linktree. I get nothing from SocioTap for saying this, but what I'm telling you is that if you're serious about leveling up your game and allowing people to understand your products and services, and to be able to buy your products and services with ease without necessarily having to always go to your website, if they're on your Instagram, put it on your SocioTap, and it will be fire. You will see the metrics. I'm assuming that you're tracking the metrics on your website. You will see the metrics increase.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Okay, American Management and Leadership by Design. That's your motto.
And that's my company name.
Oh my gosh, company name. Tell me about
the logo, the three rings.
Yes.
And so yes, let me tell you about the three rings. And so this is loosely based on Lewin's theory of change. So Lewin's theory is it's freeze, move, and then or unfreeze, move, and then refreeze, right? And so when you're learning concepts, like you start in one state, and then as you're going through, because what it is that, as we grow and as we learn things and as we move, change is uncomfortable for a lot of people. Change is very uncomfortable. And so what we'll do is that, so you start in the red state, which is where you come in, and then you go into the black state where you learn all the things you have to learn, you make the changes. And then when you come out on the other end, you're in the silver state where you're like, oh, I made it from point A to point B, and I went through my journey. And this is why we go from medium, dark, light.
Wow. Okay. So you want to go from the red to the white, though?
Yes. Or silver, but yeah.
Oh, silver. Yes,
yeah.
Silver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got here. We're going to talk about your book. We're going to talk about your program. I'm so glad you said you were in Maryland, correct?
Yes.
What's the weather like right there? Because today it snowed in Denver. We got about a half an inch.
So it is, today it went up to 43. Yesterday was like 32. And so we're pretty cold, but tomorrow's going to be 70. So we're in that weird, anytime, like you could always I remember one Christmas, it was like 75 degrees here. Wow. And so, but then after that, it gets crazy. So we can be okay with mild weather up until the end of December. So we very rarely have a white Christmas. Whoa. But anything after January is boom.
Okay, so you guys don't get snow usually till December or January?
No, we don't get snow until like January, February. We don't get snow in December ever. Hey. Like if we get snow in December, it's like the world is ending, because we don't know what that is.
Okay.
Listen, when you hear the federal government shuts down, that's how you know it's bad.
Oh
Okay,
my.
the federal government shut down a couple of times.
Okay. So for us here in Colorado, Denver, we usually get snow before Halloween in October, but now it's December and we just got our first snowstorm today.
Wow, I've noticed there's a pattern change in weather. Like, it's just like places that are historically warm are now getting cold, and places who are historically cold are warmer than they've historically. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's something to this global warming. So, we got to check it out.
We'll definitely have to, do our best to keep this.
Yeah, pay attention. Get that electric car. Do something. Shut down carbon emissions.
Yeah, no lie. I like that. Okay, let's get straight to the questions. Before we get into the questions, I want to let everybody know that Dr. Andrea and we met on an amazing platform called Clubhouse. Oh, you know what? And from there, she welcomed me with a very warm welcome. And from that moment, I blew her up on her Instagram and I was like, hey, I need you to come on my show. And so that's how.
Loving him. I love Clubhouse because it has allowed people to have genuine connections, I believe. Because, LinkedIn and stuff like that, you have to know the person, then you have to request, and then you have to try to build these relationships and all sorts of stuff. But on Clubhouse, it's like almost instantaneous connection. And so you can decide, and then people like the red tape and stuff, you can like bypass that a lot faster. And so I have really appreciated Clubhouse because I have really met some amazing people. Just 2 nights ago, I was interviewing Dr. Ali, Muhammad Ali's former wife, on a podcast. Like 2 nights ago, I don't even understand what happened. And I'm trying to figure out who, me? Oh my, this woman's amazing. So I have met people that I'm not saying I never would have met them in my life, but I met them a lot sooner, if you understand what I mean. Because I do believe a lot of things are destined and, your path is your path. But, the people you've met, and then genuine people and people who want to help people who genuinely want to help other people succeed. And I tell people, I want to help make you more awesome than you already are. And I'm like, there's enough money for everybody. We're not in competition with ourselves. And Clubhouse has allowed me to help create the world that I want to have for my daughter. That I think that I want other people should have, and for my daughter, because we've been in a world where you're taught to be in competition, and there's nothing wrong with competition, but it doesn't. But there's also something called humanity, and there's also something called compassion, and these are not things that need to be lost among us. Whether we're looking for that almighty dollar or not.
I love it, and I like how you're looking out for your family. I love that.
I selfishly do. Listen, I will tell you this, and anyone who cares to listen, that I selfishly, and I will stand on my soapbox until my eyes close, I selfishly do what I do for my daughter just turned 3. So my 3-year-old daughter, and for all women out there, because no woman should ever feel that she's not good enough, she's not smart enough, that she doesn't deserve it, that, let's change that conversation. And you know what? And there's definitely a shift going on, because as I was in the kitchen, I had just finished giving my kids lunch, and I had like Doc McStuffins on, like, Disney Junior. The main character said, it's not nice when you call whatever the girl, I don't know, I didn't hear the whole thing, but they're like, it's not nice when you call her bossy. And they said, what she is she's a boss. And they did a whole song about how this young girl's a boss and she's not bossy. And I was like, what is happening here? And I was like, oh, Disney, you guys got props from me, because now you're showing children at a young age to change the narrative, because if a girl is assertive, she's been called bossy, then she's critiqued into submission, then she's, you know what I mean? So don't call her bossy, she's a boss. And they made a song out of it. I was like, oh, let's not the head with the I was loving it. I was loving the whole message. And I was like, big up to Disney. Big up to Disney. That's my New York in me. Big up to Disney. So like
shout out to Disney. Big ups to Disney. I've never been to New York.
Oh my gosh, you've got to come. There's no place like it in the world. No place like it.
I'm looking
best food.
I'm looking forward
best
to it.
Everything. Broadway, museums. I mean, I can just tell you, like, we can go on and on and on and on.
Oh my goodness. I bet. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Have you been to Colorado yet?
I've been to Colorado. So I went there for business, and I went there and I went to where they had the Olympics and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, yeah. And so, right. And so I was so, coming from New York, when I went to Colorado, like my body almost went into shock because the air was so clean.
Yep.
The air was so clean. And I was just like, wow. And I remember traveling between sites, and it was like long stretches of nothing. Like when I say nothing, like, you know, no street lights. No, I'm a public transportation girl. Like, you know what I mean? I grew up in the concrete jungle. So when I went to Colorado and I realized it was nothing but open space, it was beautiful. But I also prayed that the rental car didn't break down, because I can't change a tire. And I was like, Lord Jesus, just help me. And you know what I mean? So it was a different like
mindset.
You know,
yeah. Wow. I would never even think about that. I mean, but geez Louise. Okay, so for here, okay. So my parents live about 3.5 hours from here. And there's two ways to get, I mean, there's a few ways, but there's two main roads, highways to get to my parents' house. And one highway, like every, I say 30 minutes or to 45 minutes, there's a gas station, right? Mm-hmm. But the other highway, you don't have a gas station or anything. You don't have live pipe for 2.5 hours of driving. It is just,
that's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, and for someone who grew up with like the street lights and the background noise, like the sirens and going into a place that's like country, like I started having heart palpitations. I was like, oh my God, the killer could get me and no one's gonna find me. Like, what's going on here? Like,
yeah, no, it's like that. So with that road, I hardly ever take, but there's a road like that where it's just like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then of course being, and I wasn't even married at the time. And so like, a single young woman going who could barely pop the hood of the car, and you want me to do what? And I was like, okay.
Yep.
What's going on?
All right. Well, when you come back again, you don't have to trip. You know what you got to do when you come out here is go hiking.
So I'm not opposed to any of that stuff, but I just need to make sure that someone can find me. You know what I mean? Like, so like, now, I mean, because back then there was no GPS tracker, like, and like smartphones and stuff, like, if you really think about it, because I'll tell you, I'm 46. So back then there was none of that stuff going on. And so, it was like, you had like your map, like literally the paper map, or you had the printout of directions, and that's all you had. And so, that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, I'll go somewhere, but I need to make sure that someone can find me, that I can give you a landmark, that there's reception. Like there's like, you know what I mean? Like there's like, because that whole Gone Girl stuff, that's not going to be me. Listen, I told my husband, I said, listen, if I don't show up one day, you come and get me. I said, if I leave you, I'm going to tell you straight up. So I'm not just going to disappear. So if I don't show up, you better come and get me. Okay.
That movie is something else. I tell you what, that's just oh my goodness.
Crazy. Just peace out. Deuces. Like, I don't understand that. So
sounds like you like to watch movies.
I'm a big movies person. Like, I will actually name the actors and other movies. I'll be like, honey, you see that person there? They were in this movie. And he's like, how do you, I'm like random information in my head. I don't even know how we're still married. It's like random information in my head. And I'll just like point out stuff and I'll critique movies and I'll be like, don't watch that. You won't get your time back in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing show. And I like shows. If I can't predict the plot, I'm totally there. If I could predict it, I'm out. You know what I mean? Because
I mean, because like you've seen it before.
You've seen it, boring, blah blah boo. Boo to you. But if it's something I can't like, so this is not even what the podcast is supposed to be about, but I'm gonna talk about it. So this one show called The Wheels of Time is on Amazon Prime, and it's really good. And there was this one episode, like I'm ahead of it from, because you got little kids, and this to say ideally that my husband and I watch movies together, that would be ideal, but we got little kids, so we have to like sometimes stagger, how. Anyway, so I saw this one episode, and it was so bananas good that I was so mad that he hadn't watched it, because I finished it, like the episode, like the episode ended like this. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't, and I told him, I was like, you have to watch it. And he's like, okay. And then he said he's watching it, and he's like, what's she talking about? Why is she saying? And then so he got to the end, and he was like, oh. I was like, I told you, right? So yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about Wheels of Time on Amazon.
Wheels of Time on Amazon.
I wrote it down.
Super good.
I wrote it down. Did you watch the Kanye West Drake concert last night on Amazon?
No, I did not. Oh, Should I have?
Yeah, oh my goodness. I didn't even expect it. I didn't expect it. It just was right there live.
Because you know, there's so much beef and so much stuff you hear. You know, like half the time you don't even know if it's really gonna pop off. So you're just like, I don't even know if
right.
it's really gonna happen.
So I see it there. I'm like, no way, this is really happening. So I click on it, and like it's just showing the crowd. And it was supposed to be on at 10. He didn't come on to like 10:20, 10:25. But like the whole time I left it on, I was just like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. And it happened, and they did like
I didn't think it would
2-hour show, and Kanye played his old music.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have thought. Now you got me talking about music, which I know we should be talking about other stuff, but I have this thing where I will listen to music today, but I am a 90s hip hop. Like I will bust out in a rhyme. Like I'm all about hip hop, like, you know, and I don't know if it's because I grew up in New York or whatever, because I'm a huge Busta Rhymes fan. Like I will bust out a Busta Rhymes rap in a second. Like I don't even understand. Like you know what I mean? So I am
grew up over there with it.
That's what I'm saying. Tribe Called Quest. Like I'm all in that. Like, you know, like LL Cool J from back. Listen, you can bring out, like, I remember when I went to an LL Cool J concert.
Oh my
God. He was doing, like, he had like the boom box at the back, and he came out with his rap. If you know, this is for all you young bucks out there, you need to do some homework. And he came out with this song called I'm Bad. And when he came out on the stage, and he was like, oh, I was losing my mind. I was literally rapping. I was like, oh, like, yeah, I was totally there. And then totally random. Then my husband told me the other day, he's like, hey, people are coming to DC, hip hop, whatever. And I was like, when is this happening? And he's like, it's in January. He's like, I heard it on the radio and I knew you wanted to go. I was like, well, when is this? I was like, we gotta get a babysitter. Like, I need hip hop in my life. Okay, so yeah.
So do you know who's gonna be there?
I don't know. My husband knew like the whole list or whatever. Right. Like, but it's all the people like from 90s, the era of like the Busta Rhymes and like that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it's Tribe, but you know, because you know, but like that kind of stuff, you know, like that kind of. And I was like, oh, I totally need this. Yep. And then because one time they had like old school Puff and Queen Bee and like 112 and they had like, I mean, I was just like, and I was pregnant and I was like, dang, I can't go. I just couldn't believe. I was so mad. I was pregnant. I really wanted to go to this concert.
Right on.
But yeah.
Oh, right on. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad we connect with music as well. I get it. I'm a 90s kid. I'm a 90s kid. I grew up. I was born in '88, and then I was a 90s, and then I know.
It's in my life. And so just the other day I was talking to this gentleman, I don't know if you know him, Fabian Lyon. He's a real cool cat. And I told him I'm stuck in the 90s. And I was like, actually, this group called Full Force, this is back in the day of House Party and stuff like that. This group called Full Force, like I had this song called stuck in my head. It's called Ain't My Type of Hype. That song can get a party started in any second. You look so good. Ain't my type of hot, baby. You and me is crazy cool. I was like, oh. Yeah, like I'm in my kitchen. My kids know, they call it mommy music. Oh yeah, my kids know about 90s hip hop. They're
They got to know. They got to. Do you guys play music while you cook food?
I do. Yeah, well, I'm the one that cooks. My husband doesn't cook, but I'm the one that cooks. So yeah, so if I'm cooking, cleaning, whatever, it's got to be. I'm streaming.
Absolutely. All right, man. We've been talking about so many awesome things. Let's get to a couple questions because this is what it's all about. We want to hear about all you do. So we'll go here real quick with these questions because you're just so you just got a great energy with you. So here we go. What do you like about being a leadership coach? What is it that you like about it?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you this. You can't appreciate the good unless you experience the bad.
Yep.
And so having had bad leaders and bad managers over the years, when you're coming through the ranks and stuff like that, I always said, you know what? I always took note about what not to do and how I would never treat somebody like this and how, and I would see how it would affect organizational cultures. And how people's egos and their hubris, would really affect the team and the infrastructure and things like that. And so what I like about being a leadership coach is really, especially for women, is helping them understand that being intelligent and being assertive does not mean that you're a witch or there's anything wrong with you, and don't compromise who you are, or don't dumb down your intelligence to make somebody else feel better. And so you have to learn how to navigate that, and to say, and if you have an opinion, say, this is my opinion, and please don't project your insecurities upon me, because that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Also, to explain, to understand that, and there seems to be not as much now, but like two different sets of rules for men and women in terms of engagement. And so if a man gets angry, he's just angry. But if a woman gets angry, is that time of the month? Is that this, and so we need to change that narrative. Also, they just assume that when a woman walks in the room that she's not the leader. They just assume that she's the admin or something along those lines, and the dude will be the leader. And you understand what I mean? So we need to change that dynamic. And when this one thing makes me really upset about women, and not all women do this, but when they say, if there's no seat at the table, I bring my own chair. But there's wrong with that statement. And the reason why I'm saying that is that they're not teaching you how to do that. So when you want to advance, whether it's in your own business or in corporate or in the government, wherever you want to advance, you need mentors, you need advocates, you need people who are going to do cases for you. You understand what I mean? Like you need a support system. And so but you can't just bring your chair if you don't know how to open the door. You know what I mean? So they're like, I just bring my own chair, but they haven't told you how to open the door. They haven't told you about politics. They haven't told you about how to do your homework. They haven't told. And so I get real kind of frustrated. Like, you make it seem like it's so easy, but it's not. But they're not willing to share the information either, because they're like, well, if I had to struggle and find out this on my own, you have to do it yourself. And that's a wrong attitude. And that's how things don't change. And so this is why I say that I selfishly do what I do for my 3-year-old daughter and for all women, because I'm trying to create the world where I want this for you, where you no longer feel that you have to justify yourself for existing.
I love it. I love it, especially how you fight like for women and uplifting women, elevating women.
Yeah. And enjoy. I would say, like, you're one smart cookie. And actually, this is, and I'll tell you this. And I have a really supportive husband, and he's great. But even we had to go through something like when the pandemic first hit, and he's home, I was home with the kids, and I had a meeting, and then he said, and we both had a meeting at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first time, like, we had a clash with the meetings, right? And my husband said, I have a meeting. And I said, what makes your meeting more important than my meeting? I have a meeting too.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I technically birthed our kids does not mean that I have to take a step back from my career and my company and stuff because you have a meeting. And so I realized that there was still some disparaging thoughts, like some concepts, like, like across, like, and either subconsciously or consciously. And that's why I wrote my book, I Matter and So Do You. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the women, especially during the pandemic, they're the caregivers, or they're the breadwinners, because some of them are single parents. You understand what I mean? Or they're just, and so they had all these undue burdens put upon them, as women. And then what happens is that when you get beat up after a while, you assume to get beat up. And you just assume that, that your opinions don't matter, or what you feel, because what someone will say is like, why, as opposed to saying, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, or I'm sorry that this happened, or whatever, they'll say, why are you so sensitive? So they're reinforcing the bad behavior. And so if you say, well, I'm tired, you're expected to cook and to clean and to do all these things, like, so Ariel, I had my thyroid removed. I told you,
Mm-hmm.
And my sister-in-law came over to help. And so my husband was working from home with the kids. Obviously, I can't do anything because, I just had surgery.
Yeah, of course.
And she's telling me of how hard that her brother has it, because he has to work and he has to take care. And she came over to help. And I'm looking at her and I said, wait a minute. Why is he getting a ticker tape parade? And I said, wait, I said, a fish is supposed to swim. So he's taking care of his kids because he had kids too. So why are you saying he has it hard when this is my life every day? Because I work from home and I have the kids, because since this pandemic, our kids are not vaccinated because they're only 3 and 5 now. Mm-hmm. So when this thing happened, it was like 1 and 3, you know what I mean? Yeah. So there was no vaccine. There was no this, you weren't putting them in daycare, what makes you think, so this is my life every day. Why is he getting a ticker tape parade for a few days when I've been holding him down, doing laundry, cooking, cleaning, but he has it hard? And so this is what I'm saying, like, what kind of message are we sending out to people? What are we doing here?
Yeah, it should be equal. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to change, I'm here to change the narrative, and I'm not mad or hating or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you have to be so careful about what you think and what you say, because your thoughts become your deeds, and then your deeds become your reality. And so if you're saying that he has it hard, I'm like, hold on a second. He only had to do laundry today. I do all the laundry. I do all the
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And
so anyway.
No. And you know what? And what you said is like, we got to be grateful as well. For instance, because for instance, like you're living, you got a roof over your head. You're going hard, you know, and then you hear this, you're like, what? How? Like, yeah.
Sorry.
A fish is supposed to swim.
A fish is supposed, and I heard that from a judge, because a judge was, you know, whatever. There was a guy who's like, I'm a single dad and I take care of my kids. And, you know, he was looking for accolades, and she goes, a fish is supposed to swim. So in other words, you had kids, you're supposed to take, why do you think you should get kudos for doing something you're supposed to do?
Oh man. Love it. Listeners are going to love that too right now. You can feel it. Okay. So let's go with the next question. That's great. Oh, and I got here, I matter and so do you. I can't wait till we talk about that. And then as well, never dumb down your ideas or yourself. You said that earlier. Oh, there's that beautiful book. And what you said earlier about, like never dumb down yourself, because when you talk negative like that, you start believing in that. Your thoughts
become your deeds, and your deeds become your reality.
Yeah, never. Yeah. I just can't.
And I think people should be able to stick up for themselves, you know, and I think that women should be able to stick up for themselves without fear of reprisal or fear of being categorized or fear of other people's opinions, because someone's always going to have an opinion no matter what. You can't make everybody happy.
Or fear of something like you know, just speaking your mind, that can, like, if for instance, like at work, you speak your mind, you never know, like, hey, sometimes speaking your mind can get you in trouble, you know?
Right. But see, now here's the thing. This is why I do this, because there's a way you can speak your mind.
Beautiful.
And there's a way, you know, there's always a way to do things.
Right.
You know, and so what I do is, but here's the thing. If no one hears anything I've said this entire podcast, please understand that the use of emotional intelligence is your strongest and greatest weapon in life, personally and professionally. Your use of emotion and the use and your application of emotional intelligence is your greatest tool in life, personally and professionally.
Can you just dive in a little bit about that? Like emotional intelligence. Can you give us an example of that real quick? That
Absolutely.
Is big.
Yeah, no. So for example, you know, I'll tell you this, and it may seem, you know, like an oxymoron, but I'm an introvert. I know it may not seem like it, but I'm an introvert. I like to be quiet. I like to be by myself. I like to be in a room by myself. I like to read my book. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need people all the time. Like, I just like my alone time. Word. But what happens is, you know, sometimes my silence, people become uncomfortable with my silence, but it's not because they're uncomfortable with me, they're uncomfortable within themselves. So what they'll do is that they'll project and they'll say, you know, oh, you're difficult, or you're this, or you're that. So because I realized that some people were intimidated by me, which I still can't figure out why, because I'm like literally like the most, like, I don't even, like, I'm in my own world and I can give two hoo-ha's about you. So I don't even understand why I could even, like, you think I care enough to, anyway. So like, what's the point of intimidating you? So what I would do is say, hi, how are you? Or what makes you feel that way? Or how can I help you? Or what is it that you know what I mean? And so you have to gauge the person. And so I've seen, like, you know, the thing about emotional intelligence is, like, a lot of times we're like, well, this is the way I think and feel, and this is what I want to say, and that's just the way it is. But it's not about you, it's about the other person. And so if you realize, and if you just take 5 minutes to just get to know that person and get their perspective, you can get that person pretty much to do anything you want them to do. And that same person who would have, if you had just been direct with them the last time, who says you're very aggressive like this, if you just take 5 minutes to figure out how to talk to them, they're going to be like, you're the nicest person, you're so sweet, and nothing has changed except your approach. So when you realize that it's not about you and it's about how to interact and deal with others to basically get what you want. I'm not saying manipulate. That's not what I'm saying at all. But at the same time, you still have to, you get a lot more bees with honey than you will with vinegar. And so is it about me trying to be right? Like this is what I tell people. I don't need to be right. A lot of people want to be right. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be right. I need to get this project done. And so if it means that I have to say whatever to get this project done, that's what I'm going to do. So, because my ego is my ego is well in place and I don't need to flex upon you to tell you how awesome. I already know I'm awesome. Word. And this is not hubris. If you're just secure within yourself, you don't have to tell people about what you got going on. You don't. And this is the thing, the people who talk all the time about how awesome they are, and do you see this, and look at my car, and those are the people that have the most worst insecurities in the world. More than that too. I feel sorry for them. Yeah, I feel sorry for them. I do, because there's so much. It goes beyond insecurity. It goes, you feel the need for validation for others, and when you don't need other people's validations, you can give two craps about what they say, what they think, whatever. You're just like, I am so like, you'll be breakdancing to yourself, and you're like, and you don't care because you're just like, you do you, boo. I don't care what you got going on. Got it. Oh man. So it's really your best tool arsenal, men, women, whatever. I don't care. Use emotional intelligence. You will see how far you're climbing that ladder, how your network has increased, and you're going to be like, all I did was apply emotion. I'm telling you, it is your ace up your sleeve. Got it. So you're saying go research, go to Google and type in emotional intelligence and just do a little and learn how to do it. Once you realize emotional intelligence at the end of the day is not about you, but about the other person and how to interact and engage that person, you will be like, wow, I didn't even realize just changing my approach that little bit, how it's going to change everything. Yes, I love it. Oh man. Okay. And you know what? Before we move anymore, I want everybody to see where they can subscribe to you on your YouTube, because I keep bringing it up and I don't. So, guys, go. I know. I need to do better. I need to get more videos up there. But and this is not an excuse. This is just the reality of being a mom. And so I will always be a mom first and foremost. And so, you do what you have to do. Yep. But man, I'm excited for these videos. I'm all about information. Did you know? And all these kind of things, words of wisdom. That's where I tell people, this is how you never have another opportunity to make a first impression. And what does that mean? And all that kind of stuff. And do you need to be right? Or do you need this information? Or, and so I really just want people to be educated. That's what I want. I want people to be educated. Got it. Just educate yourself, because, education is one of those things that, people make excuses. And the one thing I want to say is that people who are accustomed to failure are in the habit of making excuses. Okay. People who are accustomed to failure are in the habit of making excuses. And so, and if you really listen to people, you can learn a lot. So if there's a problem and you say, hey, John, I'm making this up. Hey, John, looks like you missed it. You dropped the ball on this project, right? If they start making excuses, then you know that there's no accountability. But if they're like, you know what, you're right, I messed up, then you can fix the problem and move forward. So you could tell a lot by someone and their response about how they're accountable, whether they say, yes, I did it, or I didn't do it, or it's so-and-so's fault. Absolutely. And people will redirect, and you're like, but I didn't ask you that question. And especially if you ask a direct question and they don't answer it, I'm like this, and I'm telling you, I will give you the stare, and I go, that's not what I asked you. Yeah. That just tells you right there. And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, that's not what I asked you. And so that's the one thing is like, you can't like throw anything over me. Like, and I've actually been known to tell people, I'll say, is that what you believe, or is that what you expect? Yeah, no, that's great. That's good. That's good. That went in my head, and I'm still ringing in there for me to comprehend, because it's comprehending what you're just saying, but it's big what you just said. That's good. And you could be in a room with like 500 people, and all you have to do is just stand up and look and observe, and you can learn a lot about body language, who thinks they're an alpha, because here's the thing, the person who's the alpha, whether it's a male or female, they don't have to tell anyone they're an alpha. It's all the people who are wannabes. Those are the people who talk the people who talk the most, they're not the ones who are in charge.
Yep.
Understand that.
Yeah, and I liked it when you said, when you ask a direct question and then they like don't even answer the question, you're like, that right there is your sign when they don't answer that question. Like, boom.
Yeah.
Okay, love it.
Yeah, you ask if I said, what color is the sky? Well, I had so-and-so for lunch, and I'm just like, I didn't ask you that.
Yeah, I know.
I asked you what color the sky was. And I'm telling you, I've had some people who are like, man, she's so mean. No, I'm not mean, but I'm just don't waste my time.
Yeah, you don't got time.
Don't waste my time.
Oh my gosh. I understand. Guys, go follow Dr. Andrea. Subscribe to her on her YouTube. That's American Management and Leadership by Design LLC. American Management and Leadership by Design LLC. Okay.
I have some more videos coming out for the new year, and I usually do a year in review. And I didn't know what my voice was going to be like, after my stuff, but I always do like a year in review, what's happening, leadership and authenticity, this, that, and the other, because this is what I know. I don't know, because we the one thing we all know is that we're going to die, right? That's the one, we have to die and we have to pay taxes. We know those are two things in life we have to, that are guaranteed. And I don't know when my savior is going to call me home. I'm not rushing the process. I'm just saying, I don't know when he's going to call me home, but I know that I'm here for a purpose and a passion.
Yep.
And a truth. And so I've been put here to do, so it's up to me to make sure that I am fulfilling my purpose, my passion, my truth.
Yep.
I'm doing what I need to do to make sure that I'm living my best life, creating the best life for my daughter, creating the best life for others, and doing what I'm supposed to do, because I believe in reincarnation, but I can't guarantee anything. You understand what I mean? So I need to do the best that I can and the most that I can now, because I need to make the biggest impact today.
Yep.
And so I'm not going to waste time on things that don't add value in my life.
Absolutely. So don't give us that wasted time stuff. Like literally, I 100% agree with you. It's like, there's been times where I'll schedule a person 4 times because they like rescheduled them the 4th time. And then they're still like they're not there on the time. And I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm not going to no more. And then I'll still get DMs from them asking like, hey, can we reschedule? I'm like, what? No, that's 4 times. Come on.
I think that's incredibly generous. I understand. Yeah, that's incredibly. I know. I tell people I understand that life happens, and I understand that, but there's also something called respect. And so what that's telling, and honestly, what that's saying is that they don't respect you.
Yeah. Because
you must not respect my time. And I understand that my time is valuable. And so if you're not going to understand that, then I do 15-minute complimentary calls. I only do a few of them, but the point is not to sell. The point is to answer your question. I'm not there to sell. I have salespeople. I have, you know what I mean? If I'm doing selling, that's a different story, but I have my 15-minute sessions because sometimes women want to ask a question and they don't know who to go to. And I don't do everything for that nickel and dime, but if you make that a point, and I tell people, I disqualify others. I will only choose 4 because I have a life, I have kids, I have things. And if you don't show up, you can't come back. Or if you want to talk to me again, then it's $3.50 an hour. You understand what I mean? So so if you miss your opportunity, now I will say this, I have allowed for exceptions, but they have to be so highly, you understand what I mean? But not just be like, oh, I forgot. Listen, if I give you this a second opportunity, just know that if you miss it again, it's $3.50 an hour. That's it. I'm not begging you to help you. If you can't figure out that you need the help from me, and this is a gift, my time is a gift. Yeah. And if you don't understand the value of my time, because listen, I'm one smart cookie, regardless of my terminal degree. Okay. I have my ish on lock. Okay. So if I'm now listen, I can't talk about what I don't know. All right. Like I always make the joke that like if a button falls off of my coat, I'm gonna buy a new coat. I can't sew. So I'm not gonna talk about something like sewing or crafting or whatever, because that's not my stilo.
Yep.
But if you want to talk about leadership, business, whatever, I'm your chick. You want to talk about business development, I'm a business egghead, whatever, I'm your chick, but you're not gonna waste my time.
Yep.
Because I could have been working on a deal. No.
Yeah, there's so many other things. We got things on our plate we could be going on. Yeah, I understand. All right. Could you believe this, Dr. Andrea, that we literally are almost an hour into this podcast?
I can't believe it. I can talk to you all day. I can literally talk to you, like honestly geeking out.
I can job shadow over you. I can just sit there and just watch you, like what you do, and just be like, man, I'm learning so much right now. You don't even need to
I'd love to do this.
You don't even need to talk to me. You can stay quiet like you do, like you were talking, and I'll stay quiet and I'll just be watching. I'll be learning so much.
You know, I'll tell you something, Ariel. I was a college professor. And for almost 10 years, I taught at the MBA level. And I was a college chair before, you know, I went into opening my own business. And I was actually a president of a university as well, you know. So, but years and years and years ago, I was a college chair. And I would go and I would teach in front of the class, and I would be like, and I would always do the intro into the MBA program. Because I let them know, I was like, listen, if you're serious, this is what you need to do. But you're gonna like crash and burn if you don't do this, that, and the other. And I would tell, and I would love when students would say, oh, that policy, that's a new policy. And I'm like, no, it's not. And they would say, well, how do you know? I said, because I wrote the policy.
Oh, snap.
Snap. Listen, you dealing with listen, you know how they say you're dealing with the wrong one? I always tell people, you're not dealing with the wrong one, you're dealing with the right one. Come and get me. So
yeah.
We could do this.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Oh my gosh. Do you ever watch America's Next Top Model?
I have not seen that in years. I have to tell you, like the past couple of years, but I have seen it. You know, and I'm well versed with the show. But if you're asking me recently, you know, with a 3 and a 5-year-old, it's always a battle of the TV. And and when you get that scream, you're like, you know what? You hit the mommy's going deaf. What do you want to watch?
Yeah, yes, of course. Yep. What was it? What do you want to put on? What do you want to play? Oh, I know.
Whatever you want. Go see your father.
I got a niece and nephew, and they're off the wall. They're off the wall. Let's go. So we're already an hour. I'll ask a couple more questions.
Okay.
Because I know, it's Friday, and
I'm so happy to be here. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I honestly, I want to say thank you. And I'm so proud of everything that you do. And I'm so proud of the platform and what you're doing for other people, because this really is like, we can be a society of people where we could do better. If you want to do better, then you have to do better too. And you have to lead by example.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what this podcast is all about. Helping each other, bringing others,
and lead by example.
By example. And like, that's why I like to bring you in. You share your knowledge, your wisdom. Someone's going to listen and be like, wow, that's crazy. Never knew that. And that's what I love. It's just helping each other out, uplifting each other. Maybe somebody wants to do the same thing you're doing, and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to reach out. Yeah. Reach out to Dr.
You know, I had a woman when you were in the clubhouse room with me, and you know that woman I was helping with the jewelry. Yeah. And another woman had
that was amazing.
DM me on the back channel, and she was like, "Hey, I do the same thing similar to you. Do you mind if I reach out to her?" I was like, "Go ahead. She's not my client. I hope she becomes your client. You know, good luck to you." And you can. Right. I mean, she didn't have to ask me, but I thought that was real decent of her. But you know, I was like, "No, this is like I literally put my money where my mouth is. I'm not just saying." I mean it. Like I'm not, you know how people say one thing and no, like if you want to go help that woman, you reach out to her and you go do that. Like, I mean, you know, I'm just there to give some, I don't want to say random information, but you know, like some people just they don't know what they don't know. And I was like, how are you not crushing this? Why don't you have a plan? Why don't you have a strategy? You got Christmas. You should be killing it right now. You got Valentine's Day. You should be having money in this quarter and the next. Like, how do you?
And you brought in her daughter. You're like, you got to listen to your daughter. She's the one telling you what to do. You're not, you were going hard in the paint. Yeah.
I just don't, and that's why I'm like, I run my room to help people. Like, I know.
I was like this, Reddy knows why you were telling all her this stuff. I was like, dang,
This is why I tell people, like, I'm a business egghead. Like, I'm for real. Like, I'm literally like a savant. Like, I mean, I know people are like, oh, I could sell, you know, and I'm just going to say this to your listeners. If anyone tells you that they want to talk to you, but they're going to give you a session for 30 minutes, their intent is to sell you.
Oh, for sure.
That's their intent. If someone's like, I tell people 15 minutes and I could solve your problem in like 2 or 3. I don't need 15 minutes, but I just say 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if people can't like solve your problem real quick, they're not about their craft. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, I don't have time. Listen, I need 5 minutes and I got you, boo.
I'm gonna wait 30 minutes for you to finally tell me to solve my issue. Nah,
that's a waste of time. Who got that kind of time? 30 minutes. You must not have, listen, you must not be busy, because who got 30 minutes of dedicated?
I'm with you on that. Literally, like I go for work, after work, I jump on the podcast. I jump on the podcast after the podcast. I leave here, I go do either, like, it's just a constant schedule. And then the next morning I wake up, thank God for waking up another morning. I'm like, all right, what do we got to tackle today? Let's go. You know?
Yeah, let's go do it again. And we got stuff to do. That's why I'm like, I tell people. And then I had another young lady who I spoke to. She's like, yeah, I'm looking for a business coach and I'm looking to spend like 100 or 150. And I said, you're not going to find anyone worth their salt that's a good business coach. No one's gonna charge $100 for an hour. I'm telling you, right? Like, you know, she was young, so don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But I was just explaining to her that if you're looking for that price point, you're not gonna get what you're looking for.
Right.
I'm just telling you. So you
got to invest in yourself.
Can't be penny wise and pound foolish. And then this is what I don't understand. I'm like, you want to make $20,000, $30,000, but you don't want to spend $2,000, $3,000 on your development. There's something wrong here. And please don't get caught up on the glitz and the glamour and like the shiny stuff. Like, I know these things that I tell people are not what's popular or sexy or whatever. But if you want to be in business 3 to 5 years from now, you're going to listen to me. Yeah. Because all that stuff that you see with the shiny apple, that can't sustain you. That makes no sense.
Yeah. And you know what? All that stuff that you're teaching, that comes first. Like, you got to work your ass off. Like, if you invest,
you have to get your infrastructure. You have to, you know how many times I go to women and I'm like, and I say, hey, do you have a CRM? Because they're like, I want to scale. I'm like, scale what? What are you trying to scale? And I'm like, well, do you have a conversion strategy? Oh, I was like, so you get like 20,000 followers on Instagram. Uh-huh. How are you converting that into sales? Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you? And they don't have an answer. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have a strategic plan? And they look at me. I was like, can you tell me what you have planned the next 30, 60, 90 days, let alone 6, 12, or 18 months down the road? And it's like crickets. And I'm like, ladies, if you don't have a strategic plan or a plan in place, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. If you don't know what a CRM is, you have a problem. And they're like, what's a CRM? And I was like, okay. And they're like, I have MailChimp. I'm like, MailChimp's not a CRM, that's an Excel sheet. And they're going into business doing these things and not understanding the infrastructure and foundation that they need, because no one's talking about that. No one's talking about it. They're always saying like earn $1,000 a week.
No one's talking
about that. And that's why I'm like, like I want to like stab myself in the brain.
Yeah, it's like they're skipping that part. A lot of people are skipping the foundation and kind of just.
And this is why they're gonna fail, because I say to them, I was like, do you have a CRM? And I said, your website should be connected to your e-commerce platform, which should be connected to your CRM, which is your database. And I was like, so everything should be feeding in there. This is how you get your metrics. This is how you do your this. This is how, and the thing is, I know people like they glaze over because they're like, what the hell is she talking about? But they go into the rooms where they're like, earn $1,000 a week. Please don't go to those rooms. Okay, don't go to those rooms. Learn what you have to learn. Understand you have no excuse not to be smart, to get smart on the things that you need to get smart on, because you have a phone, you have an iPad, this is not the days of Encyclopedia Britannica where you had the books on the back of your shelf and you had to pull the book off your shelf. This is like, information is instantaneous. There's no reason for you not to get smart on what you need to do. But the reason why only 1% of the population achieves their goals, because there is only 1% is willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
Only 1% is willing to get the investment to find out what is it that I need to know. And if guess what? When people say I don't have money, you have money. It's just your priorities. You can get rid of that streaming service for 30 days. You can not eat out for 30 days.
Yes.
You
can ignore that coffee. You can ignore the drinking. You can ignore
yes.
the bar.
Yes. Because here's the thing, when you see the Kanyes and the Drakes and stuff like that, you didn't see when they're up in the studio till 3 and 4 and 5 in the morning working on their craft. What you do is that you see them on stage and the glitz and the glamour and boom and the sneakers, but they're working their stuff. These people work hard. Yep. Okay, but you're not seeing that. You're just like, oh, they're popular. It doesn't work that way.
They just think like
that's not how it works.
They think that's just like they just get that naturally. Like they think they don't do no vocal lessons. They think that they don't
train all the time. They have to read. They have to be careful with their diets. They have to it's a whole not just one thing. You wake up one day and you're like, I have $1 million or 10 million, you know. And I'm gonna say this last, I know we have some, you know, I'm gonna say this last thing. Say, my problem is I don't have money. That's not your problem. When people say I don't have money, that's not your problem. Because I tell people you can have $1 million tomorrow. I can give you $1 million right now. You still have the same problem. You don't know how to make this $1 million or how to sustain it. That's your problem. But not having money is not your problem. And people mix up the symptom and the cause.
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, Dr. Andrea, thank you so much. You're amazing. I got a couple more questions real quick here.
Yeah.
Like I said, we could talk here.
My husband's taking the kids for Christmas life, so I'm on your time. It's all good.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
You're 2 hours ahead, huh?
Yeah, so it's 7 p.m. now.
Yeah, we're 5 over here. Perfect. All right. I've got these questions here. I like these next questions. What's the coolest accomplishment you're proud of?
Coolest accomplishment? Educating people. Like when I see people and they come back to me, whether years later or whatever, and they're like, Dr. Andrea, thank you for that. Because, you know, the seeds that you instill, you're not going to get that direct, like, you know, that gratification or whatever. But when I see people do well, it literally feeds my soul, my spirit. When I see people saying, like, I have students who I had since back in 2008, and they still will like ping me on LinkedIn or something. And I see them as VP now, or this now, or that now. And I'm like, I tell them I'm proud of you. Or they'll come to me and say, Dr. Andrea, I want to go for my doctorate. Will you write me a letter of recommendation?
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Good for you. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know what I mean? Or they're like, Dr. Andrea, I want to pull you into my company because I need to. I love it because I'm just like, because what it means is that I did the right thing. I did right by you. Because it's not about me. It really isn't about me. And like, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, Ariel, if no one in my life ever knew my name, I could care less. Like, I'm not like, and actually, I'll tell you, being in front of people actually makes me uncomfortable. I know it sounds crazy, but like, if I had to lecture, I could be in front of like 10 million people. I'm actually gonna be lecturing to a university in Romania next month. But like, I could be in front of people, like 10,000 people if I'm lecturing or whatever, that doesn't bother me. But if it's like me personally, I'd be like, what? No. You know, like the person, my husband says, if it's work, you can do it. If it's personal, you have a problem with it. Because I'm not like the person that's like, you know how people are like, look at me. I don't even care. Literally, I could care less if anyone ever knew my name. Could care less.
You walk in the room, you already know you're amazing. You know. That's how I do. We just walk in, we're amazing, just chill out.
Just do your do. Yeah, I don't need to peacock. Now, for those who are peacocks, good for you. That's you know, that's what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yep.
I'll be over there.
I love it here, educating people. And then when you're putting that seed and then you see it in the future coming back to you, that's got to be an amazing feeling for sure. For sure.
And you know what I ask people to do when the people say, and you know, they're like, Dr. Andrea, what can I do? And I say, the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is to pay it forward. That's literally what I ask people to do. Pay it forward. Because I want you to, you know, the way that you want to be treated, treat other people, create the world that you want to see. Don't let other people create your world for you. Pay it forward. Be kind. Be gracious. Be classy. Don't lower yourself to swill. You know what I mean? So if someone treats you poorly, you be nicer to them. In your mind, you could be saying anything, but don't let that person see you sweat. Rise above and better. And then come back and be that person's boss. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, beautiful. Dang. All right, let's go with the next question. What is your favorite kind of hobbies besides being an author and leadership coach? What do you like to do? I know you got a family. Do you like to go to the park? Do you go hiking? Do you go traveling?
So, I used to travel pre-pandemic, you know, but with kids, you know, everything's changed. But really, do you know what my thing is?
What?
Baking. I am like a Black Martha Stewart. Okay, I'm gonna be for real. I'm like a Black Martha Stewart.
We're coming over.
I love to can. I like to do preserves. I like to bake. I make apple chips. I make like cookies. Like I make bread, homemade bread. Like my kids don't even know what store-bought bread is. Like they don't need, like they like, you know, and so I love to bake and I literally like this time of year, I will stay up to like 2 in the baking championship And I'm like, because I love to see what people create.
Oh,
And I can't like I want to taste that stuff.
I
I'm
can
like,
see
how
you
do
and be in a
make
baking show. You got to go be in a baking show, like a
I love
contestant.
it. I listen. I would love it. I literally derive pleasure. Like when I get upset, you know, like some people might drink or smoke or whatever, or work out,
You
whatever.
don't tell me you go bake.
I go bake.
Oh my!
I go bake. I mean, I bake when I'm happy, but if I'm upset about something, and the thing is, like, I'm not a person, I will open up my cabinet and I will find something and I will put something together, or I will bake or I'll cook or whatever. Like, I don't need a recipe. I don't need a recipe. I'll just like cook and I'll be like, hey, we did, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So does that mean you make homemade pizza?
So yes, so I have a bread machine. I make my own dough. I even make my own sauce, like my own spaghetti sauce. I do like everything. I haven't formally made my own pasta because that takes a little bit more time than I have right now, because I have to like understand that I have limitations with little kids and stuff like that. But I literally bake, cook. That's my thing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't like craft and sew, whatever. But like, listen, I make, and people like, okay, so you know, I told you I had my surgery, my thyroid, and like my family members and my friends, they're kind of a little salty with me right now because I haven't made any like cranberry orange scones. And so like when I show up, they're like, where are the scones? I'm like, listen, I can't be rolling out, like it's not working out this year. And so and even like, I'll tell you this, like even if I don't bake, like when my son's birthday, I made these cookie jars, like chocolate chip cookie jars. And it was like a superhero theme. And so what I did was I layered the jar with the cookie, with all the dry ingredients. And I literally like printed labels, like Aiden's 3rd birthday. And I had the instructions like hanging off on the side. And I did like, what's his name? Captain America. You know what I mean? Like I did this whole theme, and then I put it in a bag with like candy. And yeah, like I'm the cornball mom. Like I'm like for real cornball. Like you know, I'm the cornball.
Oh. I'm coming over and
come over.
I'm coming over
because you know what people say, they're like, if there was an apocalypse, they're like, I'm coming to your house, because I literally have so much food. Like when the pandemic hit and people were like, you don't know what we're doing, and there's no bread, and like I was rocking a bread machine and stuff like that, like before it even became popular. Like my family was eating a hot loaf of bread like every morning. Like I wake up at like 4 a.m. and I make a fresh loaf of bread almost every day for my son. Yeah I'm crazy like that. Yeah.
Wow. So tell me about so is the bread machine worth getting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because you know why? Because you can make bread the old-fashioned way, but there's nothing like a hot loaf, like, and the smell of bread in the morning. And so I'll wake up at like 4:30 and I'll pop on, because it takes about 3 hours, you know what I mean? So by the time it's done and it cools, you know, so like, and the thing is like, you know, like I have the table set and I have the vitamins on the table and I have like the whole breakfast and I'll have the beds. Like I am like Susie Homemaker. But then like when I go into work mode, I'm like beast mode. And I tell my kids, mommy's working. Yeah. And you have to, you know, and you say, excuse me. And, you know, and Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the easiest rules, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Gee, Louise.
Mm-hmm. Like my son says, my in-laws got in a car accident and I had to go get them, and my husband would stay at home with the kids. I was only gone for 48 hours, literally 48 hours. I came back and I was like, my husband, like, apparently, and I found this out later, like no one had a bath in 2 days. Like my husband was like, I don't even know what's going on. And I looked at him and I was like, what happened? And he had this glazed look on his face and he was like, I don't even know what's happening. And so I was like, okay. And I just drove in from Jersey. So I was like, I'm too tired to like go back out, you know, whatever. And so he even had like food anyway. And so I made corn muffins.
He cracks me up.
He's so funny. And so I made corn muffins. And so my son comes downstairs and he's like, Mommy making pancakes. And I said, no, Mommy's making corn muffins. Mommy making pancakes. He was so hungry.
Got to make those pancakes.
I was like, no. I was like, Mommy will make pancakes. And I make like French toast.
Oh,
pancakes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like the whole I make fried apples. And so when I make like French toast, I make fried apples with that stuff. And so you'll have like the French toast and the fried apples and the homemade whipped cream. And I'll do that whole thing. I'll be like, okay, here you go. Like, yeah.
Man,
I don't buy whipped cream. I make my own whipped cream.
Yeah, make your own. Yeah,
no reason to buy it.
I love it. Yeah, make your own food. Go to the grocery store. Your own food. Yep.
My own salad dressing. I make my own salad dressing. Like, and when you realize it's so easy, and then you realize, and okay, I'm on my rant now. Like, you realize the preservatives and things that you're eating and you're putting in your body, you'll be like, I'll never do that again.
Nope. Yeah. So we, my girl and I, our new thing we like to make is marinara sauce for our spaghettis. And we won't it's hard for us. We won't even think about the jar anymore. It's just you get some canned tomatoes, you know what I mean? And you get your basil and you get your stuff and you put that stuff in a frying pan. You put some ground turkey, whatever you want to put in there. And you listen. I always tell my husband, I'm going to split it in half. Like when I make my sauce, I'm going to split it in half. And it doesn't matter. Even if I split it in half, he eats the whole thing. I'm like, damn it, man. Wasn't I supposed to like put this in a freezer and then come back? And by the way, get a vacuum sealer. For those of you who like to cook, get a vacuum sealer because you will vacuum seal your food and you can put it in the freezer and then it'll be fresh. Like when you because air is your enemy and you don't have freezer burn. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wrote that down. Vacuum seal. I got that. And vacuum the bread machine. Love it. Dr. Andrea, one more question. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. I don't even want to go, but
I know.
You know what it is. Here we go. I just want to show everybody one more time where they can follow you. So here we go. Guys, subscribe to her on the YouTube channel, American Management and Leadership by Design, LLC. American Management and Leadership by Design, LLC. Holla at your girl. All right. Go to her Instagram right here and follow her on the Instagram. Make sure you like, comment, share, save, like, comment, share, save, like, comment, share, save on the Instagram. Follow. Her handle is ASDIESE. That's ASDIESE. Dr. Andrea, how do you say your last name? Diese?
Diaz. Yeah, Diaz. Yeah. So that's my father-in-law. So yeah. Oh. But yeah, no, Diaz. And my maiden name was Lambert. Very easy, right? But no, I've been Diaz for like the past 17 years. So that's
awesome. Dr. Andrea Diaz in the building. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and just telling us so much about what's going on and what you do. We're gonna have to do a part 2 because we're gonna cover everything. But I'm gonna ask you a question, but then I want you to finish off with just telling us something real quick about your book because I wanted to get into that, but we weren't able to that much. But I'm gonna ask you a question, and you can finish it off with the question or the book. And here we go. Any advice for anyone going through a tough time?
Oh my gosh. Actually, it's in my book, and my chapter 1 of my book is no regrets.
Okay.
Because we always think about the things that, we could do 10 things right. And if we do number 11 wrong, we dwell on what we did wrong. And so there's a section in my book from the 1992/3 Lion King. If you remember this movie, Simba, when after his father had died, and he left Pride Rock, and then Rafiki, the monkey, eventually found him.
Yep.
And so, he was saying, Rafiki was telling Simba, you have to come back to Pride Rock. We need you. Things are not great since you've been gone and since your father has died. And Simba's saying, no, you don't understand. Things have happened and, too much and stuff like that. And Rafiki takes his stick and he hits Simba in the head. And Simba says, what did you do that for? And Rafiki says, what does it matter? It's in the past.
Yeah.
You can't, so it happens. So this whole conversation, technically everything's in the past. So if there's something I didn't like, or I think I should have said, it doesn't matter, it's gone. So don't dwell on the past. You can't, time moves in one direction. So don't dwell on the past. So, and perfectionism doesn't exist. And so what I have to say is, we spent our entire lives looking for approval from either our parental unit or a guardian or however you were brought up. Yeah. Then we look for approval to our teachers, our professors, our boss, that kind of stuff. But what I say to you is, when do you stop looking for approval from others and you just start doing it for yourself?
Yep.
When do you stop giving away your power and authority and why, to others and just start doing it for yourself? So stop looking for others to give you validation and approval because you don't need it. It's their opinion. So, no. So if someone's having a hard time, I always tell, especially my ladies, I tell people, listen, you're allowed to have a pity party for 24 hours. I'll give you 24 hours, but after 24 hours, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that we don't acknowledge what happened. That's not what I'm saying. You acknowledge what happened, but you don't dwell in what happened. So what happened? What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do about it? Are you going to let it take you out, or are you going to take it out and say, you know what, that's a lesson learned. I'm not going to let that happen again. And you put your big girl pants on and you get up and you go out and you fight again.
Damn. Love it. And I got that right here. No regrets. Don't dwell on the past. Perfect doesn't exist. And then you can only have a
time only moves in one direction.
Yep, time moves only one direction, and you can only have a pity party for 24 hours. Boom.
24 hours, and then get up and do something. Now, I will tell you, and I know this doesn't have, I know it doesn't really have anything to do, but I really want to say this, and talk about my daughter. I know that when my daughter goes to school, because she's only 3, right? She just turned 3. So when she goes to school, I know that I'm going to be on a first name basis with the principal. I know that I'm going to be called into the principal's office for whatever happens. But I'm going to let her know that, you know what, you do what you have to do, and mommy and daddy will do what they have to do. And if someone comes back and you mess with my daughter and she yokes you again, then you haven't learned your lesson the first time. You deserve that second yoking if you come back again. Okay. And you know what happens? Because, you're like, you want to be liked, right? No, I want my daughter to feel comfortable. I want her to feel that she has an opinion, and I don't want her to feel that she has to bow to you to make you feel better. So She yokes you, don't worry, mommy's coming for you. You do what you have to do, and mommy's going to do what she has to do.
Yep. That's right. Be right by your daughter.
That's it, by your side. I'm going to be her biggest advocate, and I'll be helping her and giving her advice all along the way. Yep. Because, as opposed to saying, oh, don't do that, be like, well, why do you think you should do that? I want to know first. I'm not going to tell you just go ahead. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk it through. And what's your strategy for doing this? Yeah, she's got to know. She's got to know. I don't talk to my kids like baby and boo-boo. I'm like, what did mommy say? This is what I said the first time. You're going to, oh no. Listen, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your mother. Let's go do this.
Yep. Yes. Love it, mother. I love it. Did you want to promote your book real quick before we get off?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yes.
See if I can get it.
Got the book here. We got the book here. We got the book here. We got it.
Okay.
I matter, and so do you. Yeah.
Right here.
I see it.
Yeah. Okay. It's honestly, I tell people it's a great stocking stuffer. And you go on my socio tab and you buy it, I will autograph it, and it ships within 48 hours, and you get a tracking number, you get the whole 9 yards. We do it right here. You get a confirmation email. We do it right. We just don't go, hey, whatever. And I have to say that I was so honored and proud to ship my book to Dr. Ali, Muhammad Ali's wife.
Yes.
Former wife. I sent her the book yesterday. She was like, I was like, oh my gosh, you want to read my book? Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. I'm like, thank you, God. So it really is. I have to tell you, okay. So it's called I Matter and So Do You.
Yep. I matter. So do you.
Because you know what? Because everyone's like, oh, no. I'm important and you're important. It's not either or. We're all important.
Yep.
Okay. And so it's 10 strategies to help women reclaim their personal and professional life during a pandemic and the next global crisis. Because we beat ourselves up. We're like, we're not good enough. Perfectionism doesn't exist. Listen. Wherever you are on your journey is where you're supposed to be. I want to tell you that right now. Wherever you are on your journey is where you're supposed to be, because this is your journey. This is not someone else's journey. This is your journey. So wherever you are is where you're supposed to be, because it's your lesson to be learned today. And you don't owe anyone an explanation. And don't let the fear of success or the fear of failure keep you from greatness.
That's it. Love it. Where can we get your book?
You can get it on Amazon. You can go on my socio tab. I actually prefer you can go on my socio tab because I could sell it. Because I could sign it. If you go on Amazon, it just ships directly to your house. So, and it's all the same price point. So it's not like, you have to pay extra for shipping or extra for this or anything like that. So if you literally just go and click and scroll down, and you'll see my book.
Right there, buy my book.
Yeah, if you click right there, boom, click on buy my book. You'll be able to buy my book. And I have to tell you, yep, there it is. Thank you so much. Yeah. there it is. And I'm really, really, and actually I've had people ask me for like the second version. I was like, wait a minute. I just did this one. They're like, when do you have the second one out? I'm like, I don't, I mean, I have another book that I'm writing, but it wasn't about this, but people are like, I wanted more, which makes me feel good that you wanted more, because, you know, it's just about speaking your truth and about living your life.
Yep.
You know, and living it on your own terms. And we don't have to be mean or nasty to each other. We don't have to, you know what I mean? We can say, you know what, I'm good enough. And I'll tell you, you know, chapter 1 is no regrets. Chapter 2, hold on one second, is you're already good enough. Okay. Chapter 3 is work-life balance. I choose me. Because we'll put everyone, especially if you're a caregiver, you'll put everyone ahead of you. Yep. And you'll leave your own needs to the end. And then you don't take care of yourself. Yep. But you know what they say on the airplane, put your oxygen mask on first before you put it on anyone else. And so as women, I want you to put your oxygen mask on first and take care of you. And it's okay to say no, by the way. It's okay to say no. Saying no does not make you a bad person. No. I talk about living in your truth, and if you don't have a plan to fail, how to reintegrate into society, paying it forward. These are some of the chapters, because I believe that. I believe in paying it forward. I believe, you know, if people are kind and you show people how to behave, they will behave that too. They'll act like that too. It doesn't have to be you or me. It can be, and that's actually one of my memes on my Instagram. It doesn't have to be you or me. It could be we. We do this, not you do this. We can do this. So I am literally trying to create the world I wanted for myself and for my daughter and for future generations, because we owe it to them to do better and to be better.
You are, and you're going to get far. I know you are. All your dreams and wishes are going to come true. Just keep staying focused and just keep thanking God.
I do. I walk by faith. And listen, I have plenty of faults, and I'm not a perfect person, but the one thing I have in spades is faith. Yep. All day, every day.
All day, every day.
Understand that. Yep. God didn't bring you to whatever the day is to see you fail. Nope. You got to walk through that door, and you got to pick yourself up. And no one said it's going to be easy, but God didn't bring you to today to fail. He brought you to today to learn a lesson and for you to teach others and to do better and to be better.
Yes, to teach us a lesson and to help each other out. Yes, and to keep progressing. Yes. All right, we're gonna end it like that. Dr. Andrea Diese, I'm just so happy. I'm grateful. Guys, make sure you guys do the 5-star review on the Apple, 5-star review on the Spotify, 5-star review on the Apple, 5-star on the Spotify. It helps me out on the algorithms. The links are down below for all the donations, guys. Thank you so much. I told you we had an amazing show. We went overtime, way over time, but it's not a big deal. I'm posting it all. So thank you everybody for listening. Everybody listening right now. Everybody's like, don't stop this. But
I love it. Thank you.
It is what it is, guys. It is Friday, December 10th. I'm just so grateful, honored, everybody listening. Tell your friends and family, love yourself the most. Take care of the animals, guys. So we're going to drop
happy holidays and be blessed. And just know that you are already good enough. And I've taught this to my children. And the hearts, we always give, anytime I end, I always give a heart and with love, because everything stems from love, 100%. If everything has to do with love, then we have no problems in this world.
Hey, she is 100% correct. I love that. Great motto. Keep teaching your kids that, because they're our future, and they're bright. They're amazing. They're so fun. So let's go, guys. ArielENT.com, Ariel's Entertainment Podcast. I'm going to tell my DJ, drop that track. Woo! All right. Come on, DJ. Drop that track. All right. All right, guys. That was the podcast. I do it live. Here we go. That was Dr. Andrea Diese. Dr. Andrea Diese. Make sure you guys go follow her on the Instagram. Subscribe to her on her YouTube. She's coming all the way from Maryland. Yeah. Cool. Guys, available on all podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Tidal, Google, Amazon. Woo! All right. Thank you guys for the subscriptions on the YouTube, donations. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Dr. Andrea, no, thank you. I will send you the links when this comes out. I'll promote it all week. It's going to be amazing. Shout out to your husband. Shout out to your family.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is just super cool. So thank you so much, guys.
And bless you and your family this holiday season.
Hey, you too. We'll stay connected. Ariel's Entertainment Podcast. We out. Woo!